Folks, Framber Valdez is back, and he's ready to deal in 2024. Jake Myers looked good at the plate today. If you watch the game, we're going to talk about how the Astros and Braves are tied for the most players in the top 100 right now. Let's get going on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Yainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Go ahead and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go and check us out, and go and subscribe to us on YouTube and give us a big fat thumbs up while you're doing it. This episode is brought to you by Prize Pick, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code, all lowercase, LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. So, Brett, when you're not dreaming about Ace Framber Valdez returning to his form, where can they find you at on social media?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. Look, I love what I saw today. I got to actually catch the game. I really haven't been able to catch many of the games when they've been on TV. They haven't all been on TV. I really wish they would carry every spring training game, but that's neither here nor there for me because I don't make those decisions. But I liked what I saw out of Framber. I liked what I saw, out of the offense. Payne got a good hit. Myers looked great at the plate. The guys were hitting the ball on the button, but the wind was blowing in. And so several of our players could have 2, 3, even 4 home runs at this point in spring training. Although spring training doesn't matter, it's nice to see that they're making solid contact. But I love seeing Framber doing really well on the mound. And I really like the fact that the Houston Astros have 8 players in the top 100.
Yeah, definitely. Today's game was a much better representation for who Framber Valdez should be, and he ditched something, and that's something we'll definitely talk about here. But today's game was much better of who he was. 4 innings, 4 hits allowed, 1 earned run, no walks, no home runs, 4 strikeouts, and he had a much better rhythm, a much better pace, and he just felt like he was executing better, and everything was just a little bit more better for him. He said, Joe Espada said that clean outing like that's a good game from Valdez. It matters. I thought the whole pace of the whole game was good. When he was throwing strikes and we're getting quick outs, it was important. And it wasn't until the 4th inning when they even scored a run off of him. Otherwise, he was doing what he normally does, get the double plays, get the ground balls. Yes, they made some hard contact, but for the most part, he was in total control of this game. And remember, a couple shows ago, we talked about him wanting to try to do something that Josh Hader does, which is the pitch con, but on the pitcher side. So he wanted to relay back and forth signals with Yainer Diaz or whoever would be catching him at the time. But he talked to, after that first game against, I forgot who he pitched. I think it was Nationals the first time, but he didn't do so well. He gave up like 3 or 4 runs in the first 2/3 innings, and he just didn't have the same feel for it. And he talked to Joe Espada. The whole coaching staff agreed, like, hey, we want you to feel comfortable out there. And if this is kind of limiting you, then let's not do this. Let's get you in the rhythm that you feel comfortable with. And that's what he said today. He just said he felt more comfortable and more in rhythm with Yainer Diaz making a call.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you need. Framber Valdez can definitely turn into a head case really quick. We know how difficult his delivery is and how it's so important for him to repeat. And for him to repeat his motion, he's got to be in the right space. And Mike Stanton and I talked about this last time he was on Locked On Astros. And we talked even last year, his ineffectiveness towards the end of the season after his no-hitter. Even before that, he was real erratic off and on, hot and cold, is when his velocity ticks up, his pitches flatten out. They become very hittable. Joe Espada did say today, you're still going to throw the pitch you want, regardless of who's pressing the buttons. If we could take that from you and have the catcher do it, then just focus on executing the pitch or running the game, stuff like that. The pace today was better because he didn't have to deal with the pitch com. And that was a direct quote from him. And this is what Valdez said. He said, I tried it last time just to see how easy it would be just to call pitches myself in between innings. But honestly, I think it's the same thing as the catcher calling the pitches themselves. I think it's honestly best just to have them call and wait for my pitch. Now, the whole reason why we have the pitch com and all this stuff is because of these sign stealing thing. What I think is interesting is you have one of the best curveball throwing pitchers, one of the best off-speed throwing pitchers in baseball on the team that was embroiled in the 2017 brouhaha and scandal say, you know what? I don't care if they see my signs. I'm going to throw what I throw. And here's the thing. When he's able to set up his fastball, when he's able to throw at the velocity he wants, he can throw that hook. And that is a key aspect to Framber Valdez. And if Framber Valdez can start this year off right, because, hey, we just got news today that Garrett Cole, we may find out in 2 or 3 days, may be having Tommy John surgery. He's having an MRI done. And so now you don't have Verlander, but you have Valdez and you have no Cole. So that really opens it up nicely for the Astros on opening day. I don't wish any player to ever get injured, but Framber Valdez really looks good. And I think he's out to prove something. I think he's ready to show everybody that, you know what, if Cole is out for the season, I think Framber shoots to the top 3 or top 5 for consideration for Cy Young.
Right. And he said, I'm getting there. I'm getting to where I want to be, getting to 60, 70, 80, 90% getting there. So it's that's what spring training is. It's not really for the hitters. Yes, the hitters need to get their timing. The hitters need to see live pitching, but it's also for the starting pitchers to get to where they need to be, build up the endurance, build up the stamina to pitch these long games, because 7 innings is a lot when you're coming back from basically, I mean, I know they don't sit on their butts the whole off season. Most of them do train all off season, but it's just good to see him go out there. And but basically he did this, and this is what we're used to seeing: 50 pitches, 35 strikes. That's more of the Framber Valdez we're used to seeing. And hopefully he's able to carry this into the regular season, because like you said, the Yankees are going to be missing Garrett Cole. And so that, but don't count the Yankees out on either making a trade. They can go out and get maybe Dylan Cease. There's also Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell out there. So this could, if the news is bad, we don't know what's going on with Garrett Cole, but if the news is bad, they can make a move, because the Yankees know, I mean, Garrett Cole was the second best pitcher in baseball.
Well, I mean, some would say he was the best because he was the best in the American League. I think he's better. I think he's way better than Snell. Eric, I would say pound for pound right now, when Cole is on the mound and he's healthy, I think Garrett Cole is, I think, the most dangerous pitcher in Major League Baseball. Just because he is very good at what he does. We saw that. I mean, I remember back in the ALDS, dude, spending 15, basically creating 15, strikeouts against the Rays in the ALDS when he was with us. But look, at the end of the day, you've got to ride with the horses that you have. And the only thing I would say, if the Yankees do go out and sign a Snell or Montgomery, how behind schedule are they going to be? I don't think they'll be ready for an opening day start by far, but they would fill a void if he was out for the season. So I guess we have to wait and see. And someone said Judge potentially could miss time too. Well, Judge is going to miss time, period, because he's often injured. He does have injury issues, and now he's moving to center field. He is going to be more prone to injury. Again, I'm not wishing anybody, but hey, speaking of center field, okay, and before we get to the next segment, did you see the catch that Chas McCormick made today?
No, I did not. Tell me about it.
So go back, watch the highlights from the game today. If I can't grab the highlights, if they're not on the highlight that I have access to, I'll put another episode up later, just from spring training stuff. The wind was killing this ball, and Altuve was trying to go out to get it. He let up, and Chas not only dove, but he dove and did like a front flip, like into the grass, and came up. And I was like, dude, Chaz wants that center field job back. It was unbelievable. So it's great to have him, to have Myers, all of them out in the outfield, and Tucker. I think we're going to have one of the better defensive outfields.
So you're saying he must have watched that Savannah Banana game and try to duplicate that. So Framber Valdez is looking to become better, but did he make ESPN's top 100? We'll go and talk about that in a second.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Let me tell you about our sponsor today, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is an amazing thing. It's America's largest daily fantasy sports platform. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports because it's you against the numbers instead of you against thousands of people. You pick more than or less than with 2 to 6 players and stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. The app has fun new feature called Demons and Goblins. I've actually used it. Demon picks are marked in red and they're scary picks. They're meant to get your blood pressure up. But the thing is, you can win 100 times your money. If you bet $10, you could win 1,000. But if you're more cautious and you want to take the more like safe approach, you can go with the Goblin picks. Those are in green. It's to help keep the green rolling in more steadily. So either way, I think you can find that it will be fun to play. If you're into the NBA, you can pick more or less than on everything from 3-pointers made to turnovers committed. And for spring training baseball, you can pick more or less than pitcher strikeouts like today. If you would have gone more than 2 strikeouts and that was a projection on Framber, you would have won some money. So download the app today and enter the code Locked On MLB for your first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's code Locked On MLB, all one word and in all lowercase letters, and get that first deposit match up to $100. Join Prize Picks today. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us. Go ahead and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, go and check us out. But go and check out Locked On Sports Today. It's now available on Free Fire TV channels app, and it has all the local experts. I was watching it earlier to just get some Rockets news. I was watching NBA talk. I was watching football talk. It's actually pretty awesome, and there's a lot of people tuning in. So check out Locked On Sports Today. It's now available on the Free Fire TV channels app. So I was looking up content for today's show, and I saw ESPN. ESPN normally doesn't open up their content for everybody to read, but they did for this one, and they had the top 100 players for this year. And I think they had like 5 players or 5 people, either they're reporters, former players, just kind of voting for who they thought the top 100 players are. The Astros were tied with the Braves for 8 players out of the top 100 players. So that was pretty awesome to see. I didn't expect that, especially with a couple of players having down seasons last year. But there was one player in particular. We'll talk about all the players in a second, but there's one player that was like, really? But I guess they're not just looking at the offensive numbers. So we'll talk about that in a second. But
so hold up, Eric. So you mean to tell me the Los Angeles Dodgers, who every time a team plays them, it's their World Series.
I think they had 7.
They didn't have as many as us.
Oh, the Braves, they're a juggernaut. They've got all the pitching. They got all.
But Eric, you're burying the lead. The Dodgers are the best team now, right? Because of Otani and Yamamoto. I mean, they were good with Mookie Betts, but now they have Tyler Glass now, who's probably not going to last a whole season.
I'm actually bearing the lead too. Also, guess who's better than Shohei Otani?
Yamamoto?
No, Yordan Alvarez.
Well, we all know he's better than. Dude, well, look.
We know, but
the world
MLB doesn't.
You mean he's ranked higher than Otani?
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Lord. Oh, there's
Otani's number 9 and Alvarez is number 8. So we can go ahead and talk about that right now. So Alvarez is entering his age 27th season, and Doolittle thinks that he can finally make that run for 50 home runs. He did great in the playoffs, and only Trout and Judge have a higher OPS over the past 3 seasons. So that's how good Yordan Alvarez can be, and future MLB star in Brett's lap right now.
Yeah, that's right. This is the 2041 first round pick for the Houston Astros right here. That's who it is. Sorry, he came in. My daughter and my grandson are visiting, but Eric, I love that Jordan is over. Can we just put the rest of the debate who the better hitter is?
Well, he keeps on winning MVP, but I think that also had to do with the fact that he was a pitcher.
No, right. No. Oh, no. And I don't discredit at all what he's done. Otani is good for the game. Otani is a great player. He's very appreciative. He's humble, but at the same time, it's just one of those things where you like to see that Alvarez is getting recognition over Otani right now.
Okay, so I think that somebody that they said was a little bit undervalued in this list was Kyle Tucker, who was number 28. So they felt like a couple of the people on the panel thought that he was a little bit lower. I mean, he was a little bit higher than he should have been because Jose Altuve was at number 26 ahead of Kyle Tucker. But I really think that my opinion is that Kyle Tucker at this point of his career, forget what he didn't do in the playoffs last year. Just think about what he can do over a full season. I think he's in the top 20, but they put him at 28 and they put Altuve at 26.
And, Mike Stanton was actually on the show. What was funny was the thing that Mike Stanton was talking about, the different players were things that we've talked about here on the show with him. And they were talking about Kyle Tucker. Mm-hmm. Eric, Kyle Tucker had a great year last year. And we, like you said, like withstanding the playoffs, people forget how good Kyle Tucker was. Like we literally, that playoff was so bad, but I agree with you, Eric. I think that's a good call. I think he is a top 20 player. 100%.
And even in his first couple of seasons with the Astros, if you would take out Kyle Tucker's Aprils where he would struggle, he would have a pretty good season. So So Alex Bregman is number 49. And they said that the reason why we put him so high is because he had a good year last year and he's looking to make some money this year. So this is definitely going to be an incentive for Alex Bregman. He knows that this could be his last time playing for the Astros, and the Astros are one of those teams that almost is guaranteed to make it to the ALCS each year.
But see, I think so. 49. I don't know, man.
Top 50. That's pretty good still.
I know, but I would put him higher. I mean, if he's the second best. He's rated as the third best third baseman. Look, Bregman needs to go out and have the year like you're talking about. I think he wins a Gold Glove this year for the first time.
Right.
Like you said, after this year, next year's rankings, he's gonna be top 30. He's got to be. He's got to be. Alex, I think, is gonna have that kind of year. Again, Jordan Alvarez, first time he's been in camp, and you mentioned it. First time he's been in camp to start the year that was actually, was it you or Mike Stanton we were talking about that? I think it was Mike said, this is the first time Jordan Alvarez has come into camp without being injured. Oh, it was you. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't remember if it was you or Mike. So, yeah, I don't
look like
credit. Well, you're both white. No, he doesn't have facial hair. No, we don't. No, well, look, all white guys don't look the same, but no, it's okay.
Keep on digging. Keep on digging.
So Dave from the Houston Hat Crew, him and I look a lot alike, and everybody's like, "Wait, are y'all actually brothers?" Like, no, we're not brothers, but we do. Like, we got the gray hair, we got the glasses anyway. So I digress.
All right, coming up right behind Alex Bregman is Justin Verlander. He comes in at number 50. So despite the late start to the season, they still feel like he's going to be in the top 50 of all the players in baseball. So they expect some regression, but they know that he's going to try to reach that 140 innings this year so he can get that guaranteed money for next year. So they expect him to bounce back and be strong for the playoffs. Number 56, the guy who pitched today, Framber Valdez. They said that he's might have to reinvent himself, finding weapons other than the turbo sinker. You have to do that without Martin Maldonado. Instead, he'll have to team up with Yainer Diaz. But we've already seen him make that adjustment with Yainer Diaz, so I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Well, today he threw a changeup to a left-handed hitter and it was effective. You don't see many changeups from Framber with the left-handed hitters, and you're talking about adding pitches to his arsenal. That is exactly what is. If that stuff is working for him, dude, the sky's the limit for Framber Valdez. But you know what? I want to save the last two, after we tell everybody.
One of them is a surprise. One of them is a very big surprise. So we'll definitely have to talk about that in a second.
All right, y'all, let me tell y'all about something really cool. Do you have a Fire Stick or do you have a smart TV? Well, if you have one of these, you can get Fire TV channels. That's right. You can learn more by visiting Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. It's your number one destination for all sports on your TV. I mean, whether it's the NBA, whether it's MLB, whether it's March Madness, I mean, all these things you have access to and highlights on a daily basis. You also have access to millions of movies, TV episodes, as well, free and live TV. I mean, there's not really a whole lot more to say other than you better catch fire and get Fire TV. I have a Fire Stick. I love it. I love that we can now access local experts like myself and Eric from the Locked On Network and watch them and watch us on our TV. Watch the opposing Locked On shows so we know what the other team is doing. So check it out today and go to Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV today. All the channels, trust me, you'll want to learn more.
All right. So looking at the last two players, one of them is pretty obvious. The other one was kind of a surprise to me. But number 61 is Josh Hader. This is the guy, of course, that the Astros signed for 5 years, $95 million. And one of the comments they made on this, will any pitcher in baseball history make more money pitching fewer innings than Josh Hader? And it's true because he only pitches one inning most times. And there's been some inning restrictions in past where he didn't want to pitch back-to-back days. But I think he's going to be more open to doing whatever Joe Espada needs this year. But he'll probably save 40 games this year. That's what they said. And he's probably going to strike out a lot of batters this year. So any comments about Hader?
No, I just Hader's going to hate. We're going to be drinking the Haterade all season long. I can't wait to see what he does. I can't wait to see what that back end does with Abreu, Presley, and Hader. Just an absolute clinic for what a bullpen is supposed to do, shutting things down. And I think with these hot starts that we're going to see, this offense hitting on all cylinders, hopefully to start the season hot and early, you're not going to need them as much, but when you do need them to be called on, they'll be ready.
All right. Number 88, shortstop, Jeremypae. So that was a little bit surprise to me. And they did say that he did have a down season last year. He didn't hit a home run in the second half. He has not hit a home run so far this spring training either. But they feel like that he's had a 98 OPS plus in his first 2 years. So they feel like he's going to bounce back this year. And with the fact that he won a Gold Glove in his first year, and he won a Rookie of the Year, he's due for a bounce back this season.
Yeah.
And the defense is there. So they feel like that was good enough to put him in the top 100 players.
Yeah. And, for me, I don't know that I'm so much surprised because I know where he stands in the league as far as defense. I mean, he's one of the top 5 defensive, shortstops in the league.
Right.
And I think that is a premium spot. He does have to work on his exit velo. I think he's made his swing is more quiet now. His swing is more compact. There's a lot less going on. Just when you start fidgeting with stuff while you're in the box, and if it doesn't work for you, you've got to try something different. And he's a guy that goes in the lab and works. And after the crescendo that his young rookie career came to at the end, winning the ALCS and World Series MVPs,
right,
that he might have pressed a little hard last year. He might have put more pressure on himself than he actually should have. And I think in the end, that's why we saw the demise of him offensively, because he wasn't the weapon. It was like Jeremypae is up. Okay, it's an automatic out. It wasn't Martin Maldonado level automatic out, but we knew that if he got a hit, he wasn't going to get around the bases. He wasn't going to hit a home run. And it just seemed like everything that came off his bat in play, it was almost like he was hitting deadened baseballs. And this year, the way he's hitting, even though he hadn't hit a home run, he's hitting the ball very solid. He's barreling the ball. That short, compact swing, I think, makes a big difference. And I can see very much, him having a bounce back year. All these people having bounce back years, Eric. I don't know that they're all going to do that. But if any team is set up to do this, it would be the Houston Astros because of the experience they have.
It's the big ifs, and every team has it. If this, if this, if this, if this, that's if this, then that. That's a geometry statement. So that's basically, there's a lot of mathematicians that will probably look at all these statements and be like, yeah. But one of the players that you might see added to this list next year, especially if one of these players leaves, maybe an Alex Bregman, is Yainer Diaz. Yainer Diaz is going to get a lot more playing time as catcher, and he's possibly going to hit more home runs than a lot of catchers that are probably on this list. But we probably are not going to have as much time to talk about the opening day 25-man roster. I did say that correctly. We know it's a 26-man roster. We are not uneducated about this stuff, but we do have to keep in mind that Bryan Abreu will be suspended for the first 2 games, meaning that he will be on the roster, just suspended. So the Astros cannot have anybody on the roster to replace him. So it's like if you're a hockey fan, if you're in penalty box, you're playing short the 2 players or one player, I guess, in this game.
Well, yeah, but that is a little different because that's called a power play. But they're not playing with one less pitcher on the field, one less position player. They just have one less guy on the roster.
Yes.
But yeah, I didn't even think about that when he was suspended. I was like, oh, okay, someone else will replace him. But no, I guess not. I mean, it's 2 games. He'll probably get in maybe like a bullpen session opening day from what I've read. They will be working him so that game 3 he's ready. And so that's when we unleash the 3-headed monster or the law firm of Abreu, Presley, and Haer, who I think are absolutely gonna if you think Jim Adler is a tough, smart hammer, wait till these 3 hit the mound consecutively in a game. It's going to be awesome.
All right. So definitely we're going to have a deep conversation about who makes the 40-man, the 26-man, 25-man roster tomorrow. I think the only kind of question mark right now is the bullpen. So we can talk all night about that. But I think Seth Martinez has really made his presence known this year. I think Ronel Blanco has really said, hey, I'm here. We played 20 games in 21 days. So we need a 6 starter, and JP France still has not pitched in a game yet. So I still have my doubts about whether he'll be ready to be in that rotation. And even if you do, you'll need a long reliever, aka Brandon Bielak, to kind of piggyback with JP France. So that might be part of your bullpen. Dylan Coleman had an okay appearance today. So there's just so many question marks right now. This is why that you have Dana Brown kind of looking out there saying what's out there on the market to make to improve the bullpen.
But don't forget that Parker Mashinsky is having an amazing spring. I buy more stock into a pitcher having a great spring than I do like a Justin Dearden catching fire in spring training, because Dearden literally, and I talked about this on a solo show, he dropped out of the top 30. He was the number 9 prospect last year, Eric, going into the season, and he lit spring training on fire. I mean, I was there to see some of those games, but Parker Mashinsky from Texas Tech is absolutely throwing gas. He's shoving on the mound. He's missing barrels, and he could be a person that is a key component to this bullpen, especially with him being the only other left-hander right now that I see really impacting this bullpen other than Haer.
Yes. To close out the show, we do have some injury updates. Lance McCullers was on Foul Territory TV. He said that his goal was to aim for that 13-month timeline. Late June or early July would be a big W for him. So that's what he's aiming for. So hopefully he's able to do that. Justin Verlander will throw a bullpen session on Monday, I believe. And then they'll kind of make some more decisions on what's going on from there. And then let's see. we have that Abreu is progressing still. He's still nursing that right knee soreness. So hopefully he'll be able to get back in the lineup pretty soon so he doesn't fall behind. But everything's okay with Verlander. They just didn't think that he would be ready to start the season on time. And eventually they may have to make that same decision with
Right.
JP France. So any closing thoughts, Brett?
No, man, I just I like what I'm seeing. If y'all are listening and you're at spring training, thank y'all for listening to Locked On Astros. Enjoy it. We wish we were there. Hey, when you're there, if you see someone, ask them if they listen to us and get us some more listens. I know, Eric, we gained between 40 and 50 new subscribers just alone from doing the content from the Savannah Bananas game and all the fans I had the opportunity to interact with. And yesterday, a young man came up to me. I was at Top Golf with some friends and he tapped me on the shoulder and he said, "Excuse me." He goes, Are you on a podcast on YouTube?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You're on Locked On Astros, right?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You're H-Town Wheelhouse." Like, "Yeah." He goes to the same elementary school that our sons went to.
Okay.
He is a fifth grader who'll be going to the local intermediate school. I just thought that was cool. So
Yeah.
thanks, bud, for meeting me. And I put their picture on our YouTube channel. That was neat.
All right, guys, that's all we got for this edition of Locked On Astros podcast. Make sure you're going to subscribe to us. Make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out and go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. And we will see you tomorrow after some more Astros baseball. Go Stros.
Go Stros.